So before starting the class, please make these corrections. This Romer part over here. Jones part is fine. Rate of growth of technology is lambda n divided by 1 minus phi. And for Jones, lambda less than 1, phi less than 1. And the output, per capita output, will grow in this fashion. So there is a sustained growth in per capita output, and the rate of growth is lambda n divided by 1 minus phi. I made a mistake yesterday. I said for Romer phi equals to 0. No, for Romer phi equals to 1. So this is the parametric setting for Romer. Lambda equals to 1 and phi equals to 1. And that gives me rate of growth of technology, G, equals to y dot by y equals to theta LA. That means AT is basically A0 exponential theta LAT, and YT is basically over here. So here also, the rate of growth of output is theta LA for Romer. The rate of growth of output is lambda n divided by 1 minus phi for Jones. So the rate of growth of per capita output, the per capita output in the Romer model depends on the number of individuals working in research and development, but the per capita output in Jones depends on n, that is the rate of growth of number of individual working in research and development. So this is basically the mistake I made, and please you correct it over here, and then we will move to our discussion today. To move for the formal derivation of the model, as I said, it will be much more mathematical today. We will start with our standard monopoly kind of setup. Then we will see that we are going to apply this kind of monopoly setup over here. In monopoly setup, generally the demand function is denoted by P as a function of Q, price is a function of quantity with P prime less than 0. That's my demand curve. If you can remember your monopoly from micro, this less than 0. And if we assume that cost, the total cost depends on the output produced or quantity produced, C is a function of Q with C prime greater than 0. The profit expression under monopoly setup, it becomes pi equals to P as a function of Q into Q minus C as a function of Q, if you can. This is our standard profit expression, demand function, cost function, and this is total revenue minus total cost. When we go for a profit maximizing solution, then our objective is to find out the profit maximizing output Q And when I get the profit maximizing output, we substitute that output to the demand equation, we get the profit maximizing price level. This is what we do in monopoly setup. So the profit maximizing output, if I differentiate this with respect to Q, it gives to del pi del Q equals to P prime as a function of Q into Q plus P as a function of Q minus C prime as a function of Q, and we set it to 0. That gives me the profit maximizing solution of Q. And when you substitute that profit maximizing solution to the demand curve, we get the profit maximizing price level. If I further do some algebraic manipulation to this first order condition, we get P as a function of Q. If I take it common, in the bracket, I can write 1 plus P prime Q by PQ P prime Q into Q divided by PQ equals to C prime Q. If I do a further algebraic manipulation, I can write P as a function of Q, then in the bracket, one minus absolute value of Q equals to C prime Q. I can further write the price level in the monopoly setup P, which is the function of Q, equals to C prime Q divided by 1 minus 1 over epsilon. Okay, let me stop here. Is this derivation familiar? Is this derivation familiar? Have you guys seen this derivation before? Hello, hopefully I'm audible. Hello, hopefully I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, is this derivation familiar?
Yes, sir. It was, I think, in micro we had done
Okay, in micro you have done this. What is the interpretation of the C prime Q, Sachi? What does it call in economics? C prime Q? Does it have a name? Okay, what is this first expression? P as a function of Q multiplied by Q. What does it call?
profit,
Oh,
pi.
pi is the profit. What is the first component? P
Uh, revenue,
revenue. And what is the second component?
cost.
Fine. Then what is C prime Q?
Marginal cost.
Very good. Marginal cost. So what we are actually seeing over here, and what is this epsilon?
So this is elasticity.
Elasticity of what? There are a lot of elasticities.
Price elasticity.
Cross price elasticity. Cross price elasticity. Or income elasticity.
Elasticity of demand.
Elasticity of demand is a cross price elasticity of demand. There's an income elasticity of demand. There's a own price elasticity of demand. What is this?
Their own
Own
price
price
elasticity.
elasticity
Own
of
price elasticity of demand. Very good. Okay. Um, own price elasticity of demand. And so the optimal price under monopoly, the profit maximizing price level under monopoly is C prime Q divided by 1 minus 1 over epsilon. Generally, we take epsilon as a fraction, and that is why we get this. This term in the denominator, which is 1 minus 1 over epsilon, that is 1 minus 1 over own price elasticity of demand. It has a name in economics, the term in the denominator. The term in the numerator, C prime key, is marginal cost. The term in the denominator, 1 minus 1 over the elasticity of demand over here. Under this monopoly profit maximizing setup, the term in the denominator over here has a technical name. What does it call?
Lerner index.
No. Lerner index is simply price minus marginal cost divided by price. So according to you, if I write down the Lerner index it basically look like this. L equals to P, the function of Q, minus C prime Q divided by P, the function of Q. This is Lerner index. But this term in the denominator, this highlighted term in the denominator, it has a name. Epsilon is a fraction. So let me just write it down over here. 0 less than epsilon less than 1. And that is why I'm getting the price is higher than marginal cost in the monopoly setup. इसका एक नाम है. Anybody? Standard Micro. Standard Micro. Anybody? The term in the denominator is known as markup. And that is why the monopoly pricing is called the markup pricing. So optimal price under monopoly is a markup of marginal cost. Okay. That gives me price is greater than marginal cost, and that is why I have a Lerner index greater than 0 under monopoly. Under perfectly competitive market structure, this term is 0. That means this epsilon is infinity. Under perfectly competitive market structure, 1 over epsilon is 0. Price is always equals to marginal cost. That's perfect competition. And that is why the Lerner index is 0 under perfectly competitive market structure. Under monopoly, epsilon is a fraction. We operate on that part of the demand function where epsilon is a fraction, price is a markup of marginal cost, and I get a positive profit. Lerner index is also positive. Okay. So to what extent you have a monopoly power in your market, it basically depends on to what extent you have a markup. You see, the more epsilon is higher, this is going down, this is going up, prices. So more epsilon is lower, your markup is basically higher. Okay. So this is a very standard monopoly result. And if we really go for a, I think you guys have always done with this linear kind of demand function. So if we apply that, P as a function of Q, let's say A minus BQ, and let's say C as a function of Q equals to, let's say, small c multiplied by Q. And if you just put it over here, your solution under this particular setup So first thing you have to calculate this thing, 1 minus 1 over epsilon. What is the expression of that? Can you please tell me? Does it have an expression? I don't know. So in this particular demand curve, this elasticity part actually does not have a specified expression. So uh, difficult to write. Okay, if I do, let's say in a standard possible way, so I have my AQ minus BQ square minus CQ, so A minus twice BQ equals to C, and that gives me Q equals to A minus C divided by twice B. If this is my Q, then my price equals to A minus B into A minus C divided by twice B. B cancels out. One second. Just give me some time.
Sir,
Mhm.
sir, is this inequality that you've written there, C prime Q upon 1 minus 1,
Mhm.
1 divided
Mhm.
by 1 minus 1 by epsilon greater than C prime Q? Is this
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
Sir, if I put epsilon is equal to 1 by 3 in there, then it's not satisfying.
I need this particular part. 1 over 1 minus epsilon has to be greater than 1. Okay,
Oh,
so if this part is a fraction, if the denominator is a fraction, I am done. But the only thing, the denominator has to be a fraction. Suppose if I put 2 over here, it is 1/2.
sir, the epsilon variation is still 0 to 1 only, no?
I will vary epsilon between 0 to 1. Fine. So my P equals to, why don't you guys try to derive the profit maximizing quantity and price with this linear demand and cost function? What is the profit maximizing quantity with this standard demand function linear?
A divided by 2 into B plus C.
No, no. Profit maximizing quantity, Q,
Yes, so Q.
A minus C divided by 2B.
नहीं A divided by 2 into B plus C.
How did you do it?
Sir, differentiating pi equation with respect to q.
How did you write down the pi? A minus bq into q minus cq, right?
So p into q. So
P into
p is
q.
so
P is a
a.
minus bq.
Yes, sir. AQ minus BQ square. Oh,
aq minus bq
sorry,
square.
sorry, sorry. I did a mistake.
हाँ, तुम लोग कहाँ पे रहते हो भाई? मोनोपोली का सोल्यूशन कर रहे हो और ये सब मिल रहा है तुम्हें.
A divided by 2B plus C.
But 2b plus c. It should be a minus c divided by 2b.
Yes, sir, it is A minus
Yes.
C by 2B.
Huh? What is the P? Profit maximizing price level. Bolo. Q is a minus c divided by 2b. What is P?
A plus C by 2.
A plus c by 2. Okay. Very good. Now, what is the value of the Lerner index? Is it positive or negative? What is the value of the Lerner index? It is positive or negative? L. क्या हुआ? Q मिल गया है, P मिल गया है, marginal cost is given.
Sir, it is coming out to be A minus C by A plus C.
A minus c divided by A plus c. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. I'll come to that later. Generally, that is why you put the parametric restriction A greater than C. Graphically, otherwise the solution won't come. That is why it's giving me the positive result. Okay. Why didn't you calculate this part for me with this linear demand function? The price is A plus C divided by 2 and C prime Q is C. Then what is 1 minus 1 over epsilon? Anybody? How do you calculate that? The price is A plus C divided by 2. Marginal cost is small c. Then what is this 1 minus 1 over epsilon? What is the value of this markup? Hmm? How do you calculate?
So is it 2A upon A plus C?
2a or 2c? 2a or 2c?
2A.
2a. कैसे मिलेगा 2a? What is your c prime q? What is your p? A plus c by 2. What is your c prime q? Small c. You are equating a plus c divided by 2 equals to c by 1 minus 1 over epsilon.
Yes, yeah, I didn't take the mod, so it's 2C upon 2A plus C.
And what is the value of the markup? The reciprocal of that. A plus c divided by 2c. Okay. So this is called the markup pricing. For monopoly pricing, the price level can always be expressed in this fashion. What I need is 1 minus 1 over epsilon is a fraction. So if 1 minus 1 over epsilon is less than 1, then negative 1 over epsilon is less than 0. That means positive 1 over epsilon has to be greater than 0. Right? That means epsilon has to be greater than 0. So as long as my epsilon is greater than 0, this term is a fraction. 1 minus 1 over epsilon is a fraction as long as my epsilon is greater than 0. I am done. Okay. So as epsilon going up and my markup actually going fallen down, in the extreme case, I get my perfect competition when epsilon is infinity. Absolutely standard result, markup pricing. I think you guys have done it in your micro. This is just a simple recapitulation. Okay. Last thing we are going to calculate from here is basically the profit, optimal profit. P equals to A plus C by 2. My Q is what is my Q is basically A minus C by 2B. What is my profit? A plus C by 2 multiplied by A minus C divided by 2B minus C. So it is A plus C into A minus C divided by 4B minus C. Right? Can I simplify it further? Is it possible to simplify it further? The profit expression? I don't think you can do it further with this linear demand curve. Okay. Is it possible to have C greater than A, that is small c greater than A? Is it possible? Can I have small c greater than A? Is it possible to have small c greater than A?
No, sir. Q
Why?
is negative.
Q is negative. So that's the parametric restriction we always impose, A greater than C. And you see when A greater than C, your Lerner index is positive. So you enjoy positive profit. And when your A is greater than C, you will also see your profit expression will give you positive profit. Similarly, for the perfectly competitive market structure, you simply set price equals to marginal cost. Your Lerner index is 0. And if your price is exactly equals to marginal cost, what is your Q? Under perfect competition, what is Q? You set price equals to marginal A minus C divided by B. So it typically says that the standard result, your quantity production is lower under monopoly and the price is higher under monopoly. Fine. So this is standard recapitulation. You can actually go back to your standard micro book and you can check what is happening over here. Now, as I said, we have an increasing return to scale technology in the Romer model. That means we have to operate in a monopolistically competitive market structure. So I will start with this. Y equals to, if you remember, so let me just write it down what Y we have taken in the Romer model. This is the Y we have taken, right? This is Y. I will start with this Y. I'm just, for simplicity, I'm removing this time subscript over here. Equals to Ly to the power alpha Ly to the power 1 minus alpha multiplied by this expression. This is my production function. You say this Ly to the power 1 minus alpha remains over here. I will prove that rest of the part, please hold on a limit for a second. This xj over here, what we assume that in order to produce the final good y, I need the labor force Ly and a lot of intermediate goods. So let's say to prepare a car, you need tire, you need steering, you need motor. So these are intermediate goods, tire, steering, motor, and there is a particular person who assemble everything with their labor force and get the final output Y. So I start with this production function. I will prove that this particular production function that I have written over here, it will converge to this production function later. Okay. Assumption is final good market, that means capital Y market, is perfectly competitive, but the intermediate good market is monopoly. That means each intermediate good producer, they enjoy a monopoly power in their market. But the final good is still sold under perfectly competitive market structure. The price of each intermediate good, I will denote it by PJ. So price of intermediate good is PJ. And price of labor is W, standard. Small w. Any question? So final output is produced through labor, Ly, and a continuum of intermediate goods. How many intermediate goods are here? A types of intermediate goods are here. A types of intermediate goods are here. Final good, that means this Y, is sold in a perfectly competitive market structure, but these intermediate goods are produced under monopoly setup. That means each intermediate good producer, they enjoy monopoly power in their market structure. So what is the problem of the final good producer? Is to maximize this expression. The price of final good is still normalized to unity. Labor cost and minus Pj xj PJ. To maximize this by choosing, so this is the profit expression of the final good producer. So this first term is basically the total revenue, price multiplied by quantity. The first term, the price is normalized unity. Labor cost is WLY, and this is basically the cost of intermediate good that is purchased from the monopoly producer at the price level PJ. So this is total revenue minus total cost. What are the choice variable of the final good producer, Lakshya Kabia? Can you please tell me?
Yes, sir.
What are the choice variable of the final good
Sir, I
producer?
couldn't.
The final good producer maximizes this profit by choosing what? What are the choice variable?
LYT.
LYT. And anything else?
The LY function of T.
Anything else? LY, that is labor, and anything else? The final good producer will choose. You have to produce Y. What do you need to produce Y? LY and XJ. How much LY do you need? How much XJ do you need? You determine that by maximizing profit, right? Then what are the choice variable? What are the choice variable of the final good producer? कौन बोलेगा? साची बोलो. ये तो ठीक ठाक है ना? Is there any
Yes,
question
sir.
here? This is the
Yes.
profit expression of the final good producer. Total revenue minus total cost. They want to maximize this expression by choosing what? What are the choice variables? What are the choice variables of the final good producer? स्नेहा बोलो.
Price.
Price. That means PJ.
Yes, sir. And quantity.
Means XJ. You're going to choose PJ and XJ. Anybody else? According to Sneha, the choice variables are PJ and XJ. Anybody else? Concentrate over here. This is the problem of the final good producer. Maximizing this expression. This is the market structure. What are the choice variable of the final good producer?
So labor and quantity.
Quantity means
X.
कौन सा x? There is no x here. What is there? X?
XJ alpha.
Alpha तुम choose करोगे? क्या लाने?
No sir, मतलब XJ.
What is xj? What is the physical interpretation of xj? It is the jth intermediate good.
Yes.
Let's say
sir.
tire. So the example that I have given, the three intermediate good is tire, motor, and the steering. So j equals to 3. Over here, I have used suppose A types of intermediate goods are here. So it's a perfectly competitive market structure. Sneha, I really didn't expect you are going to. It's clearly written over here. The final good producer is a competitive market structure. Under perfect competition, do we choose price, Sneha?
Sorry, I was thinking about the intermediate.
Huh?
I I wrote I thought about the intermediate market.
Okay. Then what are the choice variable of the final good producer? फिर से बोलो स्नेहा.
Quantity produced.
What are the choice variable? ठीक से बोलो. There is no quantity produced. Final good producer are producing Y. By choosing what? Y produce करने के लिए क्या क्या input देना पड़ रहा है? According to the production function that I have written over here, the highlighted production function, this. What are the inputs here? What are the inputs here?
XJ and LY.
Xj and Ly, and these are the two choice variables only. Okay. To choose Ly, what is the profit maximizing condition?
We derived it. Price
Do it.
equal.
Do it. What is the profit maximizing condition when I choose Ly to maximize this expression? I will write down this. W equals to 1 minus alpha Y by Ly. I said this is the profit maximizing condition when I choose Ly optimally. When I maximize this expression by choosing Ly, this is the profit maximizing condition. Am I right? You guys do it. You maximize this expression by choosing Ly. So Ly is appearing over here. Ly is appearing over here. And you also use this expression to simplify the first order condition. Ultimately, after some simple algebraic manipulation, you should get this. So labor are paid in terms of their marginal product over here. देखो. मुझे बोलना जब हो जाए.
So, okay.
मिला साची?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You are a good girl. Ovidip,
No, sir, I'm trying.
do it. Pretty simple. Not at all difficult. It's very easy.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Anybody still didn't get it? Kaustubh Kotrange, right? Kaustubh Kotrange, right? Am I
Yes.
pronouncing? Yeah,
Otrange.
Kotrange. Okay, okay, Kotrange. Kaustubh, have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now the second part. You are choosing xj to max this expression. I'm writing down the first order condition again. You guys derive it. It should be Pj, the price of the jth intermediate good, that is the marginal cost, and that should be equated with the marginal benefit. It should be alpha Ly to the power 1 minus alpha xj to the power alpha minus 1. This can also be written as alpha okay, fine. Do it. Same thing. You choose xj to maximize this expression. This is the price of xj, that's the marginal cost, and that's the marginal benefit. So right hand side, the highlighted part is if you employ one extra unit of intermediate good, how much extra output you are producing, this highlighted part. That's the marginal benefit. What is the marginal cost? That if you employ or purchase one extra unit of intermediate good, what is the extra cost you incur is Pj. So marginal cost equal to marginal benefit. Same thing over here. If you employ one unit of extra labor, how much cost you incur? W. If you employ one unit of extra labor, how much output you get? That's the marginal product of labor. Marginal cost, marginal benefit, marginal cost, marginal benefit. Derive this second condition. So rather, I will write this Pj as a function of xj. Again, the same procedure. So final good producers are operating in a perfectly competitive market structure. That is why they're price takers. To them, W is given, PJ is also given. Given W and PJ, they are choosing LY and XJ to maximize their profit. Wow. Simple maximization. You have to differentiate this expression with respect to XJ only.
Yes, sir, it's coming out to be same.
Okay. Everybody, can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Potinti Sai Balaji.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
I'm trying.
Trying. इतना टाइम क्यों लग रहा है भाई बालाजी? You have to choose XJ to maximize it.
By differentiating and
Mm-hmm.
and equating to 0, we can get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Good. So What is the interpretation of this equation? This is actually giving you the demand for labor equation for the final good producer. You see, when W rises, your demand for labor actually falls down. So the first equation is basically the demand for labor equation of the final good producer. The second equation is the demand for the intermediate good producer, intermediate good by the final producer. The second equation gives you the demand function of the intermediate good by the final good producer. And also, I have not written it over here, 0 less than alpha is a fraction, huh? Less than 1. Now we will go the intermediate good producer who are actually monopoly. Their profit expression for the jth intermediate good producer, it is denoted by pi j. I'll call it pi j. The profit of the jth intermediate good producer, pi j, equals to price into quantity minus, sorry, let me assume that you need certain amount of xj to produce xj. R into xj. So this is the assumption. You need certain amount of xj to produce xj, and that can be purchased at the price R. You can sell xj at the price pj, but you need to purchase xj from the market at the price R to produce xj. Okay. So the intermediate good producer now, this expression given R, this expression is the function of xj, and pj is this. You can substitute pj over here, and you can differentiate this with respect to xj. If you do that, what you get is this. My final expression लिख रहा हूं. Again, you guys derive it and confirm me. K equals to R divided by one plus prime, the function of xj into xj whole divided by Pj. And if I further simplify that, this will give me R divided by alpha. And since we have already assumed alpha is a fraction, this is greater than R. And since R is independent of J, this has to be equals to this. Show me. So you have to maximize this expression. You can substitute this particular expression over here. That is basically your Pj as a function of xj. You substitute that over here. Then your then your pi j is only a function of xj, and you choose xj to maximize that. You'll ultimately get this expression. Do it. Again, you see the interpretation is the markup pricing. 1 over alpha is the markup here. And this is the elasticity. The same expression, the way I have written over here, the same way I am writing over here. The price is a markup of marginal cost. What is the marginal cost over here is R. So price is a markup of marginal cost. And the markup over here is 1 over alpha. Given this demand function, if you calculate this expression in the denominator, you will get it is alpha. Do it. एक हिंट मैं देता हूं. When you calculate this, you can actually, you see this expression is you can use this. So that means you can actually take the logarithm of the demand function. अरे बाप रे, वो वाला expression कहाँ गया? I think it's got deleted somewhere, right? Yeah, this one. So you can take logarithm and you can calculate this. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Who's this? कौन ये सर बोला?
Sneha.
नेहा. Interpretation ठीक ठाक है. What is the value of Markov here? Sneha?
P by alpha.
No. What is the value of markup? Ultimately solution करके क्या मिला? What is the value of markup? In this expression, what is the value of markup? I know 1 over this expression is markup, and this expression is, you have calculated 1 plus this expression is
Alpha.
alpha. Then what is the value of markup?
Alpha by R.
फिर से बोलो.
Alpha by R.
Alpha by r is the markup.
Alpha.
Alpha is the markup.
1 by alpha.
1 by alpha is the markup. सबको मिला है ये एक्सप्रेशन? So note, profit maximizing price for each intermediate good are identical. Which is R by alpha. This implies all intermediate good will be used in same quantity. What does it means? I can write xj equals to x. So I can write here Pj equals to P equals to R by alpha. Right? So the profit maximizing price set by the monopoly producer is identical for all intermediate good. As a result, they're going to produce identical quantity X. The total capital has this kind of interpretation. If I interpret capital over here is capital K equals to this, and since all xj are identical x, that's a constant, equals to dot alpha. If I call it xj only, this is my capital, total capital stock used in the production, which is equals to x into A. And that implies x equals to A by A. If I substitute this x, you see I have actually taken this production function for my analysis. Third. And if I substitute this over here, what I will get, y equals to Ly to the power 1 minus alpha into A x to the power alpha, because x is same, and if you substitute this value of x over here, and if you simplify, what I get is y equals to Ly to the power 1 minus alpha A into K by A power alpha. And if I further simplify, I'll actually get this expression. Here in this entire analysis, I'll just simply not use any time subscript over here. You can actually give time subscript, does not matter. It will be yt, it will be lyt. In the place of a, you can write at. In the place of xj, you can write xjt. And if you simplify, you get the same production function. So this production function and this production function, actually they are identical. It gives you a different interpretation of the production function. That means there is a final good producer. They're actually using this labor and some intermediate good to produce output. Intermediate market is monopoly. Final good market perfectly competitive. This is my total capital. All the intermediate good that I have used in my production, that's my total capital. And if I simplify, I get the same production function to start with. So that means I can actually give a micro foundation to this production function. Initially, I started with this production function. You might ask question, where did you get this production function from? Actually, I get this production function from here. There is the intermediate good, labor, final good, perfect competitive. Intermediate markets are monopoly. So intermediate producer actually setting price higher than marginal cost. They're actually enjoying a positive profit, and I will calculate the profit later. But if I simplify, I get my production function back. So it is not written out of the blue. It has a micro foundation. Any question? Have you everybody done it? Have you guys done it? हुआ है फैजल?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
आया है? So the production function, I started with the production function and derived some results, important results, that how does this per capita income is growing along the balanced growth path, where the technology coming from, everything. But now we're going much deeper into the model. What does this production function coming from? So A over here, you see the interesting part, this A or AT is basically how many types of variety of intermediate goods you are using in your production. You have J going from 0 to 80. Then how many types of J you are using, how many types of intermediate goods you are using for your production, how many types of variety you are using for your production is 80. The rate of growth of this 80, which we call the technological growth, is actually the rate of growth of the variety of production of intermediate. समझ में आ रहा है? So this rate of growth of technology, जो A मैं बोला हूं, it also has this interpretation. What is A? How many types of intermediate goods are used in the production of final good? 80 types of intermediate goods are used in the production. Then what is A dot T by 80? Rate of growth of technology. It is the rate of growth of variety production. What it is saying that more and more variety you produce in the economy, you will enjoy more economic growth. Because the per capita income in the long run, the rate of growth of per capita income in the long run depends on the rate of growth of technology A dot over A. What is A dot over A over here? The rate of growth of the production of intermediate good in the long run. When that rises, your rate of growth of per capita output rises in the economy. So A also has a different interpretation here. Another, not different, another interpretation here. A is technology. In this model, A has another interpretation. How many types of variety you are producing in the economy? Sachi? Making
Yes,
sense?
sir. Yes, sir.
Lakshya, making sense?
Yes, sir.
Basically says a country who have more variety is the rate of growth of that country is higher. Joy Prakash Kumar. यहाँ पे सब करवाने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. People just simply log in and they simply go away. Lavin Titare. देखो same problem. Lavin Titare. Moitri Dash.
Yes, sir.
Making sense?
Yes, yes, sir.
Derivation किए हो?
Yes, sir. Actually, I had some network problems today, so some things were.
Palkit Lohia.
Yes, sir.
Making sense? A का interpretation. What is the new interpretation you got for A, Palkit?
Sorry, sir.
What is the new interpretation of A, rate of growth of technology we got from this model? A dot over A. What is the new interpretation we got? What is A here? The model that we are solving, we have always said the A is the technology or the total factor productivity. We are getting a new interpretation of A in this model when you are solving it. What is A here, Palkit?
Sir, different types of intermediate goods.
Different types of intermediate good. Types of intermediate good. Then what is A dot over A? What is the rate of growth of A? What is the interpretation of that?
So basically rate of change of rate of growth of variety.
Rate of growth of variety. Very good. वही मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ. So it basically says that we have seen from the Solow model that the per capita output growth in the long run is A dot over A, and A dot over A is basically rate of growth of variety. That means when the rate of growth of variety of intermediate goods rises, your long run growth of our economy rises. This is the new interpretation we got when we start solving this model. Right, Palkit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So, minutely, Parna, because the solution, mathematical solution is fine, but ultimately, what you are getting, that is important. You have to interpret. The interpretation is important. Shivam Kumar. Shivam Kumar. Not here. Shivam Naik. Shivam Naik. Dev Agarwal. Okay, let me just remove them before downloading the attendance. Lavin Titare.
Yes, sir.
कहाँ गए थे भाई?
सर यहाँ लाइट चली गई है सर, तो नेटवर्क इशू हो रहा है बार बार।
कहाँ रहते हो?
तो उज्जैन अभी शिफ्ट हुआ हूँ सर, ट्रांसफर हुआ है पापा का।
हाँ, कहाँ पे?
उज्जैन मध्य प्रदेश।
Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, okay, okay. But Ujjain is a good place. Lot of
So
tourists used
without
to go
light,
over there.
but yes sir.
Good place without light.
Yes sir.
Hmm.
The internet is also bad in Ujjain.
Internet is bad in. वहाँ पे जियो गया है? जियो फाइबर
सर
उज्जैन
बहुत
में?
कम कॉलोनीज में, बहुत कम कॉलोनीज में अभी।
बहुत कम कॉलोनीज में जियो है। वेदिका गुप्ता देखो, वेदिका भी है नहीं। Jogendra Panwar, are you here? तो उज्जैन में कौन सा वाला नेटवर्क चलता है भाई? वोडाफोन और BSNL?
Yes sir, BSNL है।
BSNL. That's the problem. BSNL has not grown, and maybe government didn't want BSNL to grow so that Jio can be promoted. Anyway, आज डेरिवेशन इतना तक ही हम लोग करेंगे। रेस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट दूसरे दिन। I hopefully you have the book of Jones. Get familiar with the derivation and the interpretation. Okay. Thank you. We will meet again on 4th and 5th. We have our exam. Thank you. I'm ending the meeting today over here.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you sir.